Hi everyone, this is Counseling 4480. I am your instructor, Christian Kier, and this is a review of the syllabus. This class is fully online with new posts every Thursday, probably around noon or so. Just let you know, I will try and send you an email to let you know when the new information is posted, and that's how this course will be updated. I also have office hours between 3 and 4:30 on Wednesdays, as well as additional hours with personal appointments. So how to do that is just send me an email with a couple of different options that I can choose from, and then we will set up a time to meet at school in my office. My email address is ckier2 at calstatela.edu. All right, let's go into the catalog description. Assessment processes involved in career counseling, vocational counseling theories, career development, analysis of occupational information, employment seeking skills and resources, and the assessment of skills and interests. So, some of you guys are taking this class even though you're not rehab services majors. Maybe you're in criminal justice, nursing, biology, psychology, and you're wondering, hey, why do I need to know about this field? And the reason is that because we are all in the helping services field, you might actually meet up with clients or participants, consumers, whatever the terminology that your field uses. Some of them might actually be thinking about getting work, or maybe they received an injury, a disability, and so now they're talking to a nurse or a doctor or something like that and saying, hey, I can't do my work anymore. And you should be able to, as a professional, talk to them and make them explore, motivate them to consider intelligent, educated options for them. Okay, I'm not saying that they have to go back to school and learn a whole new thing, but you should be able to talk to them about, hey, what are you going to do next in your life so that you can make money, pay rent, pay for food, and all that other stuff, take care of your family or yourself, wherever the situation might be. Okay, under professional statements, I'm going to skip through A just because it's something that is in every syllabus. Please read it. I'm sure you're already familiar with it. Part B, statement of reasonable accommodation. I do want to go through that. The Charter College of Education faculty members fully support the Americans with Disabilities Act. If you're working with the field of disability, you should probably know it. If not, the online electronic version of the syllabus is hyperlinked to the ADA. The members of the faculty will provide reasonable accommodation to any student with a disability who is registered with the Office of Students with Disabilities, OSD, on Cal State LA campus. It's also hyperlinked on the electronic file if you want to know more about where they're located and stuff like that. Who needs and requests accommodation? The faculty member may wish to contact the OSD to verify the presence of a disability and confirm that accommodations is necessary. The OSD will arrange and provide for the accommodation. Reasonable accommodations may involve allowing a student to use an interpreter, note taker, or reader. Accommodations may be needed during class sessions and for administration of examinations. The intent of the ADA is requiring reasonable accommodation is not to give a particular student an unfair advantage over other students, but simply to allow a student with a disability to have an equal opportunity to be successful. So what that means is that, let's say you have a person who has a visual impairment, they're blind, right? So if I gave them a handout on paper, they're going to go, I can't access this information. So I will give them, let's say, an electronic file. Is that considered cheating, do you think? No, right? You're just basically giving it in an alternative format so they're able to access the same information that you, without the visual impairment, can access. So that's what really accommodations are all about. Okay, so I hear sometimes people saying that it's like cheating. It really isn't. It's really just to let them have the information in a different way so that they can also achieve it as well. All right, student conduct. Student conduct is viewed as a serious matter by the faculty members in the Charter College of Education. The charter school faculty members assume that all students will conduct themselves as mature citizens of the campus community and will conduct themselves in a manner congruent with university policies and regulations. Inappropriate conduct is subject to discipline as provided in Title 5, California Code of Regulations, and you can see more in that specific area right there on the Cal State LA website. Academic honesty is expected of all students in the charter college in accordance with the university policy. There are established university reporting procedures if a student is suspected of committing an academically dishonest act. And because we live in a world of technology now, you'll understand that, we really are concerned about people using or buying information off of the internet, or in person, or looking at other people's work with or without their permission. All that stuff is not accepted. Okay, so it's very uncomfortable for me if we, as an instructor, find out that you're being academically dishonest. The conversation is never really comfortable for either party, you or me. I'm not saying you specifically, but the student who might be doing that. D is technology. For formal admission to credential, certificate, or master's degree programs in the Charter College of Education, each student must, number one, own or have ample access to a computer. There's also a hyperlink right there to all the computer labs that exist on Cal State LA's campus. I believe that every building has their own computer lab. So if you're in King Hall, there is a computer lab in the basement. And there's also a 24-hour lab, Salazar Hall, which is kind of on the other side of campus, that is open 24 hours. If you have your student ID and some cash, you can also put money in there so you can print out papers if you need to do so. 2, have a general knowledge of operation and care of a computer, computer hardware, software, and be able to implement some basic troubleshooting techniques, such as checking connections and turning the computer on and off. Whenever you experience a weird glitch in your computer, I would say save your file immediately and then turn off your computer, unplug and replug it, and then turn it back on, and then most likely those problems will be over. If you do experience some difficulties, you can also bring it to ITS. They have an office in the Palmer wing of the library, which is not the main side of the library, but the other side, right in the front entrance. And they also have a 24-hour hotline. So you can go on to Cal State LA's website and then just type in ITS, and there should be a number that you can call, and they can resolve some of those things with you on the phone, such as being locked out of your account because maybe you forgot your password or whatever. Okay. 3, for all course and university-related communication, a Cal State LA email is required. And if you have access to Canvas, that means that you have access also to your email, and that is where I will email you if I need to contact you. 4, have a basic understanding of how to use the internet and be able to utilize Canvas or the university's current learning management system. And we are using Canvas at the moment. And if you have any questions, please feel free to set an appointment and I can help you. Students should anticipate that their use of these skills will be integrated within courses in their programs. Students who fail to meet any of the above expectations are strongly advised to take an introductory computer course before they are formally admitted to the Charter College of Education. Here's one thing that the syllabus doesn't say that I want you to know, which is that as a student, you have the entire Microsoft Office suite free for your use. And I believe you can put it up to 5 computers or iPads and stuff like that. And how to download it is you're going to go into your email. When you open up your email page, on the upper left-hand corner is a grid of 9 dots. Click on those 9 dots, and that is where you will download your Microsoft Office, okay? And I just want to let you know, there are 2 versions. There's an online version and then also like a download version that goes onto your computer. The online version is meant more for like Chromebooks. I highly advise you, though, to download the actual file onto your computer so you have it there. So you don't need the internet, because a Chromebook requires internet to be able to use. Also, it has less options for you. Okay, there's limited functions that you can have on the online, but if you download the full one that's that you keep in your computer, you will have a lot more options to, let's say, format and stuff like that. Okay, the next section is student learning outcomes, which is basically what you will be learning in this course. The reason why we have this list is more for auditing reasons. When people want to find out whether or not this program is actually offering the standard educational requirements, this is the list that provides the information for this specific course that they're going to be learning these things. All right, and below that will be the required text. The first textbook covered is going to be referred to as the Z book or Z1 as in Zunker Chapter 1. And that is the Zunker VG Career Counseling, a Holistic Approach, Cengage Learning, ninth edition. The ISBN is 978-1305-087286. The second book is optional, and we will be covering chapters from that book. However, the questions for the quizzes will be based off of the PowerPoint instead. And that second book is called the Osborne book or the O book. So O1, O2 means Osborne Chapter 1, O2 stands for Osborne Chapter 2. That is Osborne and Zunker, 2016, and it's called Using Assessment Results for Career Development, Cengage Learning, ninth edition, and the ISBN for that one is 978-1305-3977774. All right, the next section is probably the most important or the part where you're most concerned about, which is the calendar. So we will be going through each book pretty much in order. So in the Zunker book anyways, we'll be going from chapter 1 all the way up to the end of the book, so chapter 17. And then we will then go on to the Osborne book, and we'll cover a handful of those chapters that talk a little bit more about assessment so you can understand it a little bit better as well. There are pretty much two major assignments that you have to do, and then those two examinations, and there's class activities. So let's just skip over to the end of the calendar and talk about the different assignments that are required for this class. All right, so we are talking about attendance, which is going to be class activities that you'll be doing via online, obviously, and that's how I'm going to take attendance. There's also Project A, which is a written internet career job links analysis, which is worth 10 points. Very easy, and I will give you a sample of how to do it as well. Project B is the self-assessment portfolio. So this is a little bit more exhaustive, but it's actually not that difficult to do. There are 3 components, and you will be working on this throughout the semester. Do not wait until the end of the semester to do this because there's actually quite a lot of work. It can be very overwhelming. But if you break it into the 3 components that we do, each component doesn't take that much time actually, to be honest. It does require a lot of reflection, thinking about your life, and career choices and stuff like that though. So hopefully this will prove beneficial for you and it will be problematic free. Okay. The next part is the quiz, the midterm quiz, and then the final quiz, each worth 25 points, totaling up to 100 points so that you can find out and understand your grade as easily as possible. And speaking about final grades, below that is a table that gives you all of the grading rubric, which is what you get for A, B, and stuff. So please go through that on your own time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. All right, the next part is the assignment description and rubrics. So there's a little bit more details, and then we'll actually give you a sample as well. But completion of lectures or attendance, like we talked about earlier, is worth 10 points. Since this is an online course, class attendance will be determined by the completion of each week's lecture activity. You are expected to consistently and actively review class lectures. You must review the entire lecture and correctly answer all the activity questions in the lecture by the deadline to receive full points. So basically, for us to be able to understand and monitor and make sure that you're actually going along with the book throughout the semester, there will be some questions that you will have to answer at the end of the chapter lectures. Okay? Course Project A is written internet career job links analysis, 10 points. You're going to find 3 job seeking websites that will help you find work for yourself at this moment. For example, I want to be a behavioral interventionist working with people with autism. After using 3 different sites, compare and contrast how each site deals with your job search. See detailed sample in the next section of the syllabus. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. It's not really going to take more than maybe 2 hours to do this, I think. Okay, Course Project B, Self-Assessment Portfolio, 30 points. This project includes a work autobiography, taking some assessments online called the Focus 2, another online assessment is called the 16 Personality Test, and then you're going to analyze all of the collected information, and then you're also going to create 2 types of resumes, a paper one and then a LinkedIn one, which is a digital one that a lot of people are now starting to use, and we want you to be familiar with it and then also benefit from the networking abilities of that. The next component is the midterm and the final, each worth 25 points. The quizzes consist of objective questions to evaluate your knowledge of the course content. Each one will be 50 questions, multiple choice and true false. And each one will cover just that section. So the beginning of the semester to midterm will just cover that period, and then the final will cover where we left off in the midterm area up to the end of the semester. All right, for the midterm and final quizzes, we also want to make sure you understand this. Makeup quiz will be provided only in cases of emergency and at the discretion of the instructor. The professor reserves a right to give an essay formatted makeup quiz, which basically means that you will have to write out long responses to essay questions. I don't want to read them, and you don't want to write them. So please try to complete the final and the midterm quizzes when they are given. Okay, and then there will also be an extra credit for 3 points. Attend the Mental and Behavioral Health Conference on Saturday, April 18th. More information will be given later at the semester on how to receive the credit for that. But again, extra credit is optional only. Okay, all right, so let's go over to Project A and let's really see how it looks. Project A is assignment description, written internet career job link analysis. Find 3 job-seeking websites that you would use to find work for yourself at this moment. For example, I want to be a behavioral interventionist working with people with autism. After using 3 different sites, compare and contrast how each site deals with your job search. So for example, you can use the Cal State LA Career Development Center website, or you can go to them directly and then use it that way. You can use Indeed, you can use Craigslist, you can use Snag a Job, you can use Monster. There's a lot of them. I want you to explore those things, okay? The only one that I'm gonna say to avoid using is Craigslist, because I will actually provide you with a version on Craigslist, so I want you guys to actually use the other websites instead. So again, do not use Craigslist as yours because I will be using it in my sample. Okay, so this is the format right here, which is like one name of the site you will use and your URL. So you're gonna go, A is site 1 is, let's say, Craigslist, and then the second one is whatever, and the third one is whatever. And then 2, what did you like about this, each of these sites? Write down one thing you liked about each site right there. So site 1, I really like Craigslist because of this, this, and this. You know, and the next one. And the third one is, the third question is, what did you not like about each of these sites? Write down one thing you didn't like about it. Remember, you are looking for a specific job, like a behavioral interventionist or autism. So use those key search words to find out whether or not you can find this information. And if not, what kind of keywords do you need to use? Do all of that. Actually seriously take a look and see what is out there for you. Because once you graduate, you're going to have to do this you know, seriously, right? And some of you guys actually might need to look for an internship. So this might be the best thing to do, is do your internship and get paid for it at the same time. And then of course, for upon reflection, what is your favorite site and why? And answer that in about 1 paragraph. And again, I will provide you with a sample that you can use to mimic and fully submit this file. Okay? Project A must be submitted through Canvas. And if you're having any issues with Canvas, email me the project by the deadline, but you must still upload the assignment to Canvas as soon as the issue is resolved. I will send a confirmation that I have received the email. If you do not receive this confirmation, it means I did not receive your email. 1 point will be deducted for each day of late delivery starting from the due date. Alright, the next assignment is Project B, which is a little bit more comprehensive. Alright, so assignment description is self-assessment portfolio guidelines. There are 3 components to this, okay? All portfolios must be submitted online via Canvas. Each of the following parts must be included. So there's part 1, 2, and 3. Let's talk about part 1. Part 1 is just gathering the data on the self. That's going to be worth 10 points. So A, take all 5 assessments on the Focus 2, which is a personality assessment, work interest assessment, skills assessment, values assessment, and leisure interests. Include screenshots of each of the assessment results. Combine the results of all 5 assessments and list the occupations that appear in all 5 assessments, 4 assessments, and 3 assessments. If there are more than 5 occupations in any of the categories, list the top 5 occupations that appeal to you most. Okay, so basically the Focus 5 will be a bunch of assessments once you register or log in. And then you can then take all of them and they'll give you results. You're going to just take the screenshots, and I will show you how to do that as well. And you're going to post it so I can see that you did it. And then I want you to reflect on it. Look at it and say, hey, are there any jobs that are strange, or are there any jobs that are consistent with what my desires are? Remember, we're learning about careers, jobs, and stuff like that. So you want to start thinking about, the results when you answer these questions honestly. Are these realistic things that you want to do? Maybe you excel in art, but you're like, I don't want to be an artist because what I've heard is it doesn't make that much money. So it's okay. So you can say, well, I can see how, my answers gave it an art direction, but I really want to be, let's say, a rehab counselor or something like that, and try to understand how maybe those things can be interconnected. B is take the 16 personality test at www.16, as in the number 16, personalities.com. There are directions located on Canvas. Take the test and read through the various aspects of life that the site offer information. So again, you're going to take the 16 personality test, and then you're going to see the results, and then you're going to also read through all the results. It's going to talk about your personal life, your work life, your relationship life, and stuff like that, and see whether or not it really connects to who you are and your behaviors. Okay, again, if you answer this honestly, you're going to notice that, like, hey, actually I understand, or this test really does understand who I am as a person, and then reflect and think about that. Okay, you don't have to write a response on that just yet. And the third part is or part C in part 1, is work autobiography lists. List all the jobs you have ever had. If you had more than 15, just choose 3, not 15, on the syllabus. In a list form, so you're going to go, A is the position title. Let's say you were a lawnmower or landscaper person when you were younger. Was it paid or unpaid? Maybe your parents paid you $5. And then duration is how long did you do it? Maybe all through the summer or for 4 years. And then so forth and so on. The question's right there. I will provide you also with a sample so that you can look at it, and then you can then mimic that as well. So that is just part 1. So we're just kind of like getting a history of you through different types of surveys or assessments, basically. And then part 2 is the synthesis of data on the self. Synthesis means basically taking all the stuff that you have and putting it together and showing you that you understand the information. And this is also worth 10 points. Take each source of information on yourself and write a detailed summary of all the facts using specific numbers and phrases describing the data from the assessment. Include all sources for the Focus 2, 16 personality test, and the work autobiography. You will act as a vocational expert helping your results as the client. So here is some questions that I want you to answer. Create a career development plan that will help achieve your career objectives. Include the following sections in your written report and use headings. So basically what we're going to ask you to do is you're going to pretend to be a career counselor analyzing yourself. The information that you had in part A is pretend it's your client. So now that you are a career counselor, answer these questions about yourself. Okay, so that's number 1 is indicate the client's age, gender, ethnicity, and first language. Include your overall impression of the client. So talk about, hey, how did you like this person, or how did you perceive this person to be? Okay. 2, what career is wanted? Clearly state the client's goals and career objectives. Again, ask yourself these questions and answer them. And then you're going to go forward to 3 through 9. 3 is what tests did you use and what will you use to assess the client? 4, what research will be used to find information on that career? So are there any websites or resources that you're going to use? And you're going to learn about these things as you go through the book. Okay, as we go through the class, you will learn about all these different resources and you'll list them on there. And then what are your findings from this research? 5, what skills will you equip the client with for locating, evaluating, and interpreting information about future career opportunities? 6, what skills does this client currently have? What skills do the chosen profession require? So you're going to do some compare and contrast. 7, what are the skills and preparation your client will need for seeking, obtaining, keeping, and advancing in a job of the chosen field? So do they need to go get a master's to get better pay or learn a new language? It's up to you to decide what the responses will be. 8, how will you follow up with this client? So if you did have this client, would you call them up in a month, 3 months? and you're going to explain why. And we will actually learn about this as well in the course of the chapters that we're going to go over. Okay. Um, 8, how will you follow up with this client? What are the necessary steps for the student to reach their career goals? And then 9 is write a summary of the study and reflection on your own strengths and weaknesses as a career developer. So now think about yourself and see, hey, are there still areas that you need to really improve upon? Maybe you had questions and it was really hard for you to find the answers. So that might be something that you might respond with. Again, that will be part 2, and then part 3 is the resume, which is also 10 points. You're going to create 2 types of resumes. The first resume will be a chronological resume with the template that I will provide. You must use this template. You cannot use another one. You will not receive any credit if you do not make your chronological resume identical to the one that I'm going to show you. Okay? And the reason why is because I know that the chronological resume that I'm going to give you is really effective. Afterwards, if you choose not to ever do this again, that's fine with me. I'm just letting you know that I need to teach you one way that I know for sure has been an effective format. Okay, so written resume, chronological template provided and must look identical to this template for a specific job. So, for example, as school counselor, rehab counselor, whatever it is, the resume should be letter perfect and ready to be put in an envelope to send to a prospective employer. And then 2, once you have that, you're going to also do an online resume on the LinkedIn website. So you're going to create a LinkedIn website, complete the resume, and connect with 3 people, whether in the classroom or people you actually know. When submitting this assignment, copy down your LinkedIn website, and you're just going to write down your URL, which is your website, and I'm going to click on it and then review it and see if you actually did the assignment. Okay. Project B must be submitted through Canvas as well, and there will be an upload link. Again, if you are having any issues with Canvas, email me the project by the deadline, but you must still upload the assignment to Canvas as soon as the issue is resolved. I will send a confirmation that I've received the email. If you do not receive this confirmation, it means I did not receive your email. 2 points will be deducted for each day of late delivery starting from the due date. And that is pretty much the syllabus. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to send me an email and we can go from there. Thank you.